Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me again today, and happy opening day to you baseball fans. I think everybody in Cincinnati is a baseball fan today. Opening day is a big deal in Cincinnati, and it's a day of hope. So every baseball fan has hope for their team on opening day. You can check back with me in September and see where we're at with hope for the Reds. Today we're in Proverbs 30. And Proverbs 30 is written by a guy named Agur, and he has some really interesting things to say. And one of them I thought was really important. Starting in verse 7, he says, "Two things I asked of you. Do not refuse me before I die. Keep deception and lies far from me. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with the food that is my portion, that I not be full and deny you and say, 'Who's the Lord?' Or that I not be in want and steal and profane the name of my God." So the first thing, keep deception and lies far from me. This is something that may be a struggle for him, that he struggles with deception, he struggles with lies, and he struggles with discernment of deception and lies. So he's asked God for this one thing that is a struggle for him. And then the second thing, give me neither poverty nor riches. He says, kind of explaining that, kind of unpacking his meaning there. He says, I don't want to be so full that I forget where my sustenance comes from, and that I shut you out of the fact that you have provided for me. And I don't want to be so hungry that I go out and steal for food and do something that's counter to your law. So he just wants to be have enough. He doesn't want to be rich, he doesn't want to be poor, he just wants to have enough. And that's a pretty cool way of looking at things. But when I read this section, I thought, this guy is asking for the things that are troubling him, or the things that are struggles for him, or the things that he desires most. And I wonder if there are times where we need to just sit down and ask God for the things that really, really we need to fix, or that we struggle with. For me, if I were to sit down and ask God today, I would ask God to help me with, and I'm hesitant to say this, I would ask him to help me with patience, and waiting and trusting him, because all too often I get anxious because I want things to happen on my time frame, not my time frame and not his. So I would ask God for patience. And then the other thing that I would ask him for is to help me with anger, and I think that's a product of the anxiety that I get from a lack of patience. But I get really frustrated at times, and it boils over, and that's when I struggle with all the other things. I struggle with what I say to people. I really struggle with my tongue when I'm angry, and I don't think straight. I'm out of sorts because I've lost focus. I'm focused somewhere other than on the Father. So those are my two things, and I would just encourage you today, if you were to just sit down and say a quick prayer and just ask God, hey, I want to ask you for these two things, and I don't know what they are for you, but I would encourage you to go to the Lord and ask him specifically for those things, and he hears our prayers. Would you pray with me? Father, thank you for listening to us. Thank you for wanting to hear from us. And today, as we ask you for the things that trouble us most, I just pray that you would hear our prayers and respond to them as we need. Amen.